Togetherness is the key word here.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
And what happens now will speak for itself.
Will you kindly stand in company with their Royal Highnesses for a 1-minute silence in memory of the victims of the Hillsborough disaster? Magnificent. Thank you very much.
And it's Everton in a smart new blue strip who will kick off. Playing from left to right in the first half. A quick thought, Trevor Brooking?
Well, I do think it's going to be very tight. Liverpool have to be favourites. Everton running into form, though, coming into this game, and just the odd goal in it. Not a good predictor, though, John, but I'm going to go for Liverpool.
Liverpool attempting the double yet again. Succeeded 3 years ago, failed last year here against Wimbledon. But Everton know that their season hinges on this match. And Everton today are playing in the FA Cup final for the 11th time, equalling the record held by Arsenal and Newcastle. Liverpool, remember, unbeaten since New Year's Day. 22 League and Cup matches, 19 wins, 3 draws. That's the sequence that Everton are up against. And a huge roar as the kick-off on a beautiful Wembley top. Steve Tingley, the groundsman, and his staff have worked hard again to produce this surface. That's Ratcliffe for Everton. Steve Nicol for Liverpool. Bracewell to Stephen. Good ball. Vanden Hauwe, the left back. Plays it in towards Nevin. Good skill by Pat Nevin. This is Tony Cottee, and it was Gary Ablett that conceded the corner, and Everton make the stronger start. Now they've got Watson up there for this. So too is McDonald, the right back. Sharp is hovering by the near post. Dangerous and hooked away by Steve McMahon. Will the heat mean a lot of conserving of energy, do you think, Trevor, early on?
I think over the 90 minutes it'll help the game, because you know, Merseyside derbies are usually pretty hectic, aren't they? Not much space, but there's no way they're going to scamper around for 90 minutes closing down people, and it will give a little bit more space, I think, for the ball players, hopefully. And I mean, Everton has settled down very well. In a big match like this, it's always nice to get a few good early touches, and I think most of the Everton lads have had a good touch early on, which will help them.
This is Nicol looking for McMahon. Good through ball. He got away from Ratcliffe. Oh, and John August in a great position. And Liverpool have scored in their first attack. And And John Aldridge, the man who missed a penalty here last season in the cup final, didn't take long to make up for it. The ball played through was for McMahon, and it caught Everton. Ratcliffe was out-manoeuvred there. The ball into Aldridge was superb, and his finish was clinical. Well, this is why Ian Rush is having to sit his life out on the substitutes bench. Aldridge is finishing with deadly accuracy at the moment. This is Stephen. And again. Trevor Stephen back in the England picture now, named in the squad for the Rouse Cup. And he's forced a corner there, which will give Dave Watson the chance to come forward. Sheedy. Oh, Nevin in lots of space. Liverpool didn't close him down. Incidentally, the bookmakers got it right, because John Aldridge was the favourite to score the first goal here today, but this was an Everton attempt to cancel that out, and Pat Nevin had plenty of time to line this one up. Sharp's there again, so was Hansen. Bracewell was following up, Houghton got to him first, and Liverpool playing very much on the counter-attack, and how threatening they look when they break out. Barnes. Oh, that's Aldridge again! From Barnes. Beautiful ball this by John Barnes. He curled it in menacingly. And Aldridge, who's been doing well with his head too recently, might have had his second. Sharp with Hansen. There's no doubt who won that battle. Whelan. Seems to me now that Barnes is getting more and more of the ball. Staunton. Keeping it simple. Whelan. Tends to be the Liverpool way. McMahon. And now Nicol. There's always a man in a red shirt, it would seem, to receive the ball. Four waiting in the middle at the moment. McMahon. Whelan. And he's got Barnes in. Oh, too far ahead of Aldridge in the 6-yard box. But John Barnes, in this last 5 or 6 minutes, Trevor, has suddenly become a very dangerous customer.
A great through ball from Ronnie Whelan, but and the cross as well. What we didn't see was John Barnes go towards Ronnie Whelan in a sharp little 5-yard sprint, which took a couple of defenders, and then he checked and made the run, which Whelan found him inside the fullback. In fact, it was Pat Nevin who was called out in the end, and a little bit softer with the ball across the goal, and John Aldridge might well have had his second goal. But again, in those situations, Liverpool opening up the Everton defence, whereas Everton in that same stage of the field unable to do so.
Just bear in mind Everton's first choice right back, Ian Snowden, unfit for this final. This is Sharp, but Vanden Hauwe is fit on the other flank here. And Sharp's in there, and found room to get in a clean header, Graham Sharp. Sharp's touch. Cotty's offside. He's found the £2 million price tag quite a burden on his own admission, Tony Cotty. He has scored 18 goals for Everton, but hasn't enjoyed the most consistent of first seasons at Goodison. But here's a man who's enjoyed a most consistent season, Aldridge. Beardsley. Houghton probing as always. Oh, Aldridge in again!
Well, again, twice Everton were caught so flat. First of all, the ball down the line to Aldridge, which was played back inside, and then here again, you see they hold the 18-yard box. See Ratcliffe standing just on the 18-yard box. So when the through ball goes, they're caught so flat, and really John Aldridge, I think, so surprised to get the space. Barnes, and now
Beardsley pulling away to the right. Still Barnes. Houghton's trying to stay onside in the middle, and Barnes goes alone, and Ratcliffe brings him down. John Barnes suddenly saw the goal in his sights and thought he would try and break between the two defenders. And he gets caught here by number 4, Ratcliffe. Oh, probably an understatement on my part. Free kick to Liverpool. Barnes having a long look at this. Whelan knowing exactly where Nicol would be. There goes Houghton, but it's going to be a corner to Liverpool. Played back for Whelan. Oh, and Houghton darting in again here. Away by Sharp. Nicol's there. Nevin. Forward by McDonald. Grobbelaar's coming out to meet Sharp. And this could be interesting. Sheedy's in a good position. Sheedy, Hansen blocked, and Grobbelaar must have been relieved. Certainly Hansen let him know what he thought about that particular advance. It's the Liverpool supporters who have been through so much tribulation and stress recently, who are joyful and buoyant because their team, thanks to John Aldridge's goal after just 4 minutes, lead in this all-Merseyside FA Cup final. And I wouldn't imagine you'd argue too much with that, Trevor.
Well, apart from those opening few minutes before, in fact, Liverpool got the goal, then really from then on they've got stronger and stronger. The Everton defence has really looked at 6s and 7s, very flat, and even when they're in possession of the ball, they've been just booting it sort of long balls and giving the ball away, whereas Liverpool look so composed, particularly Alan Hansen at the back, bringing it out from defence and keeping possession, and as the half has gone on, they have looked better and better.
So at half-time, it's the Reds in front against the Blues by 1-0. Just thinking of the options open to Colin Harvey, his two substitutes are both midfield players, Ian Wilson and Stuart McCall. He doesn't have a striker down there. He gave the two lads the vote over Wayne Clark. But if Everton don't turn this round, I would imagine we'll see one or the other on the pitch, if not both. And again, in this heavy atmosphere, high temperatures, there'll be times when they try and slow it down, Liverpool in particular. Vanden Hauw. Nicol. Oh, Ratcliffe made another mistake. Beardsley. Ratcliffe had a long period out with injury. It happened in a cup tie against Sheffield Wednesday, and I just wonder whether he's quite as razor sharp as he used to be. Mind you, I'm talking at high standards, because he was probably the quickest player in Europe at that time in that position. Nicol. Houghton. They're lined up in the centre there. Beardsley, Barnes, Aldridge. It is Hansen. Running off the ball now is Whelan. John Barnes, Staunton sprinting outside him. Aldridge with Ratcliffe. Aldridge looked at the referee. There was a loud shout from the Liverpool fans. Nothing given against Ratcliffe. Nevin has switched to the left. Oh, Everton in trouble here. It's Beardsley. Aldridge to his left, but Beardsley could go alone. Saved by
Well, it's a classic example. I think there was a time Kevin Ratcliffe would have caught Peter Beardsley. And again, it was an example of Everton in possession themselves and not having the composure of like Stevie Nicol, Alan Hansen, and use the ball. They got themselves into trouble. There was about 3 Everton players within 5 yards of each other, and suddenly Liverpool had an attack.
Beardsley. And still Beardsley. Well, that's 2 opportunities in a minute for Beardsley. The first one, I think some credit to Southall, because he did stand up well and block Beardsley's view of the goal. And I think that may be substantiated by what we're going to see here, because he was clear of the defender, Ratcliffe, but Southall good in 1-against-1s like that, save with his feet. Nicol takes on Vanden Hauwe, first one way, then the other. 3 to his left. Not a good ball, and Everton themselves can break. And Nevin wanted to play that through, and he has to Cottee. McDonald, now Cottee again, bit of space for him. Sharp in the middle, so is Nevin. McDonald's ball in, Houghton's header out. McMahon, Barnes, now can he pick up pace? He's got Aldridge and Beardsley to his right, Watson to take on, still Barnes, and he has taken him on.
Well, not much more we could say, was there? I think it was all there to watch. Once he gets in those situations, pick the ball up just on the halfway line, and he beats people so well to create the shooting opportunity. Here he is on his left foot, just dragged it past the post.
Off goes Paul Bracewell. Had a hard time in that midfield. And McCall gets a big welcome from the Evertonians. Barnes header to Aldridge. The teams drew here in the League Cup final a few years ago, in their first ever all Merseyside Wembley meeting. Here's Hansen, one of the survivors of that. Well played. Nicol. In again to Houghton, who's always threatening. Barnes is a long way away on the left, but he's the freest player. Well found. Brings Southall down to the near post. Now, Houghton delivered that quite beautifully, and Barnes was perfectly ready here with his left foot. It was slightly deflected off the defender anyway, which made it an even better save.
Kenny Dalglish here, obviously deciding Liverpool do need a G-up.
Yes, the goal scorer is going on. John Aldridge applauded. Going off this year in rather different circumstances to last time round against Wimbledon, because this time his team are a goal up. And a big reception for the fellow who scored 2 goals in this Merseyside FA Cup final 3 years ago. Kenny Dalglish congratulates his goal scorer today, but Ian Rush back from Juventus and now back at Wembley. Kevin Sheedy is the player going off. And we have a Wembley first here. Ian Wilson, the former Leicester player, has never played here before. Everton have still got opportunity, especially if Liverpool show signs of tiring. We're into the last 10 minutes, mind you. This is Stephen. McCall. And it might work for Sharp.
Well, one of the few occasions when Everton midfield player has played a positive forward ball, and there he is, clipped it through, and Graham Sharp, not realising perhaps he had quite that space, and perhaps a flicked header towards the far post might have been better, but Bruce Grobbelaar, as usual, looking very casual.
Nevin. Stephen. Chances here, McCall's there, and Grobbelaar wasn't sure. And it was Ian Wilson who got closest to the loose ball. The two subs were both involved in there. Grobbelaar had an escape, not for the first time, offside.
Just shows you the difference by getting the cross in from the byline makes, because it's whipped in, comes from that different angle, and it causes all sorts of problems for the defence. That's the first time so far they've managed to get to the byline.
And it was Stephen, really, wasn't it? Watson's up there with Sharp. That was Watson. And Liverpool has stretched. It's Van den Hauwe. Back in again. Sharp's up there. Danger. Nevin! If he'd made contact there, it would possibly have been 1-1.
I think that's what you'd call handbags from 7 yards, yeah. This was the earlier cross. Trevor Stephen whips it in, and the hand going up from Stuart McCall just put Bruce Grobbelaar off.
John Aldridge and Kenny Dalglish unable to affect it much from there. And Everton haven't given up hope. Nevin looks for Cottee. Sharp's in the middle, and so is Big Dave Watson, now playing as a full-time forward. Nevin again, and still it's Nevin. Appeals for handball, referee says play on. Nevin again, Watson wants it long. He's got past Staunton. Sharp's there, so is Nicol. It's an Everton corner with 2 minutes to go. Now can Watson or Sharp get on the end of this? Sharp's flick. They appeal for handball again, but it's a corner again. They're feeding it in. Ian Wilson talking to Joe Worrell. All he'll get is a corner. They're feeding it into the near post where Liverpool don't like it. Sharp's the player to flick it on. Watson's coming in behind him. McDonald is also there. Wilson, no. Behind him was Staunton. Stephen. And still Watson stays up. And that's not the sort of ball... That's the sort of ball Phil Thompson wanted and Kenny Dalglish, but not what Everton would have expected from that position. And it's very tense down there. We make it about a minute of normal time, and here we have an intrusion that we don't need. And the players doing their best to rid us of that offender. Well, Liverpool were holding their breath a bit there. Grobbelaar has a chance now to clear the lines. Everton have certainly had the better of the last half hour, as you would expect for a team who've been a goal down for so long. Watson heads it forward to Cottee. Sharp. Chances here. Nevin. And outside him a chance too. And Grobbelaar. And it's gone in. Steve McCall was in there, and Everton have equalised, and there are people on the pitch. And it came with seconds left of the 90 minutes, and the stewards have got a full-time job on now. Grobbelaar thought he had that, and Steve McCall, the substitute, scores the goal. Stuart McCall scores the goal. That brings Everton level and almost certainly forces extra time.
That was quite amazing, wasn't it? They paid the penalty, Liverpool, just sitting back these last 20 minutes, holding on to that 1-0 lead. Good run by Pat Nevin. Davy Watson it was who crossed it, and Stuart McCall pounced on the slip-up.
And there it is. It's extra time in the All-Merseyside Cup final. And Stuart McCall scores in the dying seconds for Everton. A quite extraordinary finish to the 90 minutes. Liverpool looked as though they were going to hang on, but Everton caught them in the last attack. Now Liverpool will bring on Barry Venison now, that's for sure. And it looks to me as though Steve Staunton may be the player to go off.
I think Steve Staunton was tiring a little bit. It was Pat Nevin who created that equaliser, so Stevie Nicol will switch to left back, I'm sure, to do a man-to-man job on him. Barry Venison will slot into the right back position.
We've now got to face the possibility too of a replay on June the 8th. Well, I'm trying to think of a Wembley goal in a cup final that came as late as that. You look back to that Alan Sunderland winner, don't you, for Arsenal against Manchester United. But this one has forced extra time. Here's Whelan. Nicol. McCall, the goal scorer. Cotty. Here's Nevin. Now, is the psychological balance now with Everton? Cotty. Oof, maybe it is.
Very difficult side like Liverpool when you've had most of the game for an hour and then you've sat left a little bit holding on to your 1-0 lead, conceded a late equaliser. To regain the initiative is very, very difficult.
Well, that's what Liverpool have got to strive to do. That's Ian Rush up there, Houghton. Whelan's to his left, it's still Houghton. This is Whelan. Beardsley, Rush, Barnes. Got to start all over again now, ready, Liverpool. Nicol. That comes off McDonald. Well, our watch said 44 minutes, 57 seconds when that goal went in. Couldn't have been closer. Nicol. Oh, there's Rush in there. Rush! Goal! Ian Rush! Liverpool back in front. Minutes into extra time. And Ian Rush, scorer of 2 against Everton here 3 years ago, swivels on that, shakes off Ratcliffe and beats Southall. A typical Rush effort, and it's come at a timely moment for Liverpool.
Great piece of opportunism, but you have to say again that he was very loosely marked. Great ball in again from Steve Nicol. Doesn't matter if he's playing on the right or the left, he can still clip those telling passes into the penalty area.
I think it was Desmond Lynam who forecast a 2-2 draw here today, and that's what Everton will be chasing now. It's 2-1 to Liverpool, and their fans are celebrating. Oh, he's going to be a bit tight there against Beardsley, but Stevens had an excellent match. Vanden Hauw. McCall. Oh, what a brilliant run by McCall! Picked off his toe by Ray Houghton. Push. Ablett on Sharp. Well, Colin Harvey's seen his team save this match once in what would have had to have been was the last attack of the 90 minutes, but then go behind again almost as soon as extra time started. Ratcliffe. Watson's up. Here's McCall again. Oh, yes! It's 2-2. And it's the same player. Stuart McCall. Dropping it wide of Grobbelaar for the second equaliser. Headed out first of all, but look how McCall got that down, and the perfect volley with the right foot, Trevor.
No, he's not having a bad afternoon, is he, since coming on? Alan Hansen heads it out, it drops and loops in. Bruce Grobbelaar never quite going to get there. And again, we're all 2-2, and who knows what the remainder of this extra time is going to bring forth.
We've also had, unfortunately, only in celebration, I ought to say, Everton supporters on the pitch after both their goals, which is not what Wembley wants to see. And the stewards have got, again, or did have, quite a lot of work to do. That's one of the penalties, I'm afraid, of taking the fences down. And the point has to be made, even in a mood of jubilation, which is what Everton were enjoying at that moment. This is Sharp. And now Trevor Steven. Wide to McDonald. Well, this morning, Stuart McCall wasn't even sure he would be in the 13. There were suggestions that Wayne Clark might be on the bench. He'd only ever scored 2 goals for the club before today. And now he's twice revived his team in this FA Cup final. Houghton. Whelan. McMahon. Barnes. Rush! Goal! 3-2 Liverpool. Ian Rush gets his second. And this now becomes one of the most dramatic FA Cup finals of recent times. Beautiful ball by Barnes, deftest of headers by Rush, steered it wide of Southall. And Rush repeats his feat of 3 years ago, with 2 goals to put Everton's heads in their hands.
Wonderful John Barnes cross, a great Ian Rush header, but goodness me, the marking again. Ian Rush got between Kevin Ratcliffe at the far post, David Watson at the near post, and it's gone in between the two of them, and unmarked Ian Rush has got his second goal. Same as last time, of course, in 1986 when he got 2. I think Craig Johnson was the other scorer.
You're quite right, and Ian Rush has now, more than that, beaten Dixie Dean's great old record. He's now got 21 goals in Merseyside derby matches. But here are Everton again. Stevens ploughing forward. Well, will this go down as one of the classics? As Trevor says, the goals are being scored partly because of, by these two teams' high standards, sloppy defensive play to an extent, but the drama is unabated. Ian Rush here, scoring the kind of goal which one came to expect of him, in the right place. Doesn't get as many with his head as he would with his feet, but always on the prowl. And John Barnes, the perfect delivery. He was between the two defenders, and Southall was wrong-footed. So Ian Rush goes down in Merseyside folklore, and Evertonians will say that to beat the record of Dixie Dean is an achievement in itself. But what it means for those supporters is that Liverpool in this cup final have now been in the lead 3 times. Twice they've been pulled back. Can they hold it now for 15 minutes? John Aldridge bites his nails. He scored the first goal, and it's funny, isn't it? He was a few seconds away from becoming the man whose goal won the FA Cup, and now he won't have that privilege. It may go to his look-alike Ian Rush. Extraordinary scenes, extraordinary turnaround in the match. Fans shouting, attack, attack, attack. Not sure how much Kenny Dalglish will go along with that because they've been caught out twice. Van den Hauwe, Sharp coming in. Van den Hauwe again. Out by Ablett. And this is Nicol. Well, there's going to be some tired limbs out there in the second period of extra time. Here's Rush again, who of course now is on a hat-trick, and we haven't had one of those in the FA Cup final since Stan Mortenson's days. Here's Houghton. In fact, McCall's on a hat-trick as well, so either one of them could record that first three-goal achievement in an FA Cup final since 1953. Rushy is back is the shout. Well, if ever Liverpool needed Aldridge and Rush, today was the day. Aldridge's goal threatened to win it. Rush's goals might still. Sharp. But not if Everton have their way, because don't rule out a third equaliser. Must be agony down there on the bench for both sets of coaches, really. Here's Hansen. Oh, good touch. It was Beardsley to Barnes. Now it's Rush again. And here's Houghton with a chance for 4-2. What a good stop by Neville Southall. He kept his team in the game there for sure, from Ray Houghton. Well, this would have killed Everton off for sure. And Southall saves with his feet. The news from Scotland, by the way, amidst all the excitement here, is that Rangers have not completed the treble. Celtic have won the Scottish Cup 1-0. Goal scorer Joe Miller. So here's McCall. Stephen! Kenny Dalglish's old club have won the cup in Scotland. Can Colin Harvey prevent him from completing an unusual double here in England? What do you think, Trevor?
Well, I'm loath to suggest anything, because as soon as I do, a goal go in, John. But I think you've got to favour Liverpool at this late stage. Dave Watson was pushed up in the last few minutes, wasn't he? Those 90 minutes that made a difference.
There goes Rush, and Southall's made a long run out, and it has to be proved the right decision. Barnes. Now Liverpool are creating gaps because Everton have to push on, throw players forward, and it could easily finish 4-2 as well as 3-3. Here in extra time, it's been like one of those old-fashioned matches of 20 or 30 years ago, when defences opened up and goals came aplenty, rather than the more sterile 1-0s that we see perhaps more recently. Now, can John Barnes add to that total? He's kept the ball in, he's got Rush in the middle. Still Barnes. And Southall makes the save, as he's made several. Barnes deprived there. Venison. Rush. It can still work for Barnes here. Ratcliffe in the way. Beardsley! Good save! He touched that. Has Kenny Dalglish's team finally laid their hands on the FA Cup? Yes, they have. Or have they? The crowd thought it was the final whistle. Joe Worrell did point to the centre, but I think he's about 30 seconds early, and I don't think that is the end of the game. Quite a few of the players thought it was, because Joe was pointing towards the centre, and that's premature. Although what it might do is perhaps help the stewards to control what now is in danger of happening. They sent them a bit further back, might prevent it from getting out of hand at the very end. In fact, we make it about 35 seconds still to play, but Everton must know how close it is now. The game's going on with an official on the pitch in a white shirt. He's obviously going to play outside right. Here's Sharp, McCall, and they're still on the pitch, the official. McCall, foul from behind, Beardsley. That was panic. Now, can Everton do it again? We are now in stoppage time. Well, there's no Sheedy there now, of course. It's going to be Stephen. Can he make it 3-3 and force a replay? Or can McDonald? Well, it was close. From Neil McDonald. And there were a few people reaching for their diaries then. This would, I imagine, be Everton's last chance. Grobbelaar had it covered. Whistles all round the stadium. And Liverpool have won the FA Cup, the first leg of the double, and perhaps softened the pain that so many of their supporters have been through recently. And in a fine, dramatic final, surely lifted the spirits of a whole city and of the game of football. The scenes on the pitch won't be appreciated in terms of the fans that got on, but what will be appreciated is the quality and the excitement that ran through this FA Cup final, especially in extra time. Liverpool had to take the lead 3 times in order to win the cup. They held the first 1-0 advantage until the dying seconds of normal time. And then in extra time, Ian Rush scored the 2 goals, which has sent the Red Army into a great mood of jubilation. Well, if rehabilitation was needed, then this game will have done football and Liverpool no harm at all. John Aldridge and Ian Rush, the goal scorers. And now, the League and Cup double for the second time is just 2 matches away. If Liverpool were to defeat West Ham and then draw with or beat Arsenal, then they would be champions as well. But today, it's all about that famous old trophy, which has the red and white ribbons on it now. They had to sort of take it down for half an hour. And a song that has become all too familiar over the last 5 weeks echoes around Wembley, this time in joyful circumstances. Neville Southall has just sat down by his goalpost and tried to contemplate all that's gone on, playing no part at all at the moment in the celebrations and commiserations, as Ronnie Whelan, in his first season as Liverpool captain, a player who a year ago wasn't even in the 13 for the match against Wimbledon, walks up to receive the FA Cup from Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Kent, who, with her reported liking for Liverpool, will enjoy presenting it to him, perhaps nearly as much as Ronnie Whelan enjoys receiving it. Liverpool are FA Cup winners for the 4th time, and they hope that the Championship is still to come to give them their 2nd double. That may well depend on Arsenal, we shouldn't overlook that. But for the moment, after the tribulations and the commiseration of the last 5 weeks, there are smiles back on Liverpudlian faces. And even though there will be those who feel it's all a bit too soon, one day, sooner or later, this famous club had to get back on its feet, and the players had to go back to do what they do best. And they've certainly achieved that today in a fluctuating final to which Everton contributed considerably after starting the match poorly in the 90 minutes, but coming good at the end and again briefly in extra time. So Kevin Ratcliffe, his 4th FA Cup final as a captain, itself a record, but for the 3rd time he's a loser. And there's obviously bitter disappointment on these Everton faces, because when they forced extra time with virtually the last kick of the 90 minutes, you had a feeling maybe the psychological edge was with them, but it wasn't to be. Trevor Brooking, what did you make of all that excitement as Kenny Dalglish responds to the roar of the crowd?
Well, I think in the end, the right result came in 3-2. They looked as if they were going to win for the first hour comfortably. Liverpool couldn't turn it into goals. Everton bravely fought back, couldn't quite get the breakthrough, and then just as we thought it had slipped away from them, got the equaliser. Then into extra time, Rush got onto the score sheet early again. Stuart McCall got his 2nd, and then Neville Southall there just collected his medal, beaten again by Ian Rush. And I think over those 120 minutes, Liverpool just about deserved to edge it. But a great match, and one I'm sure we'll all remember.
This is Nicol looking for McMahon. Good through ball. He got away from Ratcliffe. Oh, and John Aldridge in a great position. And Liverpool have scored in their first attack. Watson heads it forward to Cottee. Sharp. Chances here. Nevin. And outside him a chance too. And Grobbelaar. And it's gone in. Couldn't have been closer. Nicol. Oh, there's Rush in there. Rush! Goal! Ian Rush! Liverpool back in front. Ratcliffe. Watson's up. Here's McCall again. Oh, yes! It's 2-2. Houghton. Whelan. McMahon. Barnes. Rush!